Welcome to week 6 on the vlog. Another good week. I will go through sort of what's been going on and throw some photos up and stuff like that. But last week, so today is Wednesday, so the vlog goes up tomorrow, but my check-in day is a Friday. So last week I was down 0.2 from the week before, which isn't anything too crazy, but the visuals between 2 weeks ago and last week were like a massive change. Even when I sent Vaughn some photos of me posing just to go through some stuff, and he even noticed that straight away. Just looked like a little bit less water. So that's where being sort of pretty consistent and patient with it will come in, because I actually hadn't made any changes really since week 1. And that's my weight coming down like a good steady amount from there. So as long as you're just following the plan, sticking to it, you'll be fine. From there, I had made a couple of changes. So I pulled down my upper body day and rest day calories slightly. So rest day calories came down 100 and upper body came down 75. From there, even going into this week, so 4 days after my check-in or so, I'm down like another 0.4. So just having that small change there. I also increased cardio 20 minutes. So I've added in another spin bike session, which I'll just get done on upper body day. But there is straight away a drop. The other thing that you've got to always look at is, depending on how your calories are set out and where you are, the way I set mine up was, I'm only going to ever really see decent drops on my non-training days, and one of my upper body days will have a little bit more of a drop when I look at the data. So that's where it's not getting too stressed by it, because my lower body calorie days are a fair bit higher. So once I've trained legs and then I've ate more, I'm tending not to see too much of a drop week to week on those days, but the other days are there. So that's where you've got to kind of look at it from the bigger picture and not focus on just the scale weight, focusing on the scale weight over a month and also the visuals. I'm holding a pen, by the way, just because highlighting stuff makes it easier to study for anyone that doesn't know that. Who'd have thought it? But the week's been real solid. I will put the physique shots up now. I'll put a couple across the screen. Been practicing the vacuums more as well, it gives me a better look. Like, I don't have particularly good abs, mainly because I never train them. As you know, abs are a muscle, you should be hitting them. But when I go into that vacuum shot, it looks a lot smoother. So I've been practicing that. Doesn't really help for men's physique too much because you don't vacuum that. But overall, quads are a little bit leaner, abs are a little bit tighter. You will notice when I put up the photo though, I'm still miles off being like stage lean. This is just a mini cut, recomp sort of style. I'm sitting at, so the average this week is 86, stage weight was like 82.5, and you'll see that in the photos where my front looks relatively lean, my back and my lower back especially is still miles off, and that's what always happens. So you've got areas that will come in a lot faster, especially quads this time have pretty much been like in good condition throughout. The other victories this week, so Monday my client Lisa was doing her shoot, so that's the first shoot of the year for me. Like, obviously it would have been, by this point I would have normally had about 7, but because of COVID it all been pushed back. So Lisa done her shoot on Monday, looked amazing. Also a really good dieting phase, just where, so Lisa's fully vegan and she was dieting like up until the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, she was on pretty much 1900 calories averaging, which stands us in a great position next year when we've reversed out, built our calories back up, and then put her on stage. Like, we're just in such a good position. Like, even going into the final 2 weeks, our calories were 1400 or so, and no cardio. Steps came out pretty much for the last 2 weeks. So that's like the perfect dieting phase, really. You want to be reducing stress going into it. You don't want to be behind. So it was a real successful one. Dropped roughly 10.5 kilos over the space of lockdown as well. So all that's been done there, and it's all been done by not having that great equipment. She's got okay equipment, but nothing amazing, couldn't get anything up on her shoulders for legs or anything like that. So really cool. You'll see the shots over the coming weeks. I've got a few from my phone, but I won't put them up just because the quality is not as good as what you'll see from the actual shoot. She's now going to reverse out as well, and we'll start to just build calories back up, which will work out perfectly for the gyms opening. Other stuff that's happened this week, so obviously we've done a webinar on how to set up gyms opening. Gyms are not opening, so that was a bit premature, but it's also still helpful. So if you want to have a look at that, head over to the YouTube channel and you can see it. We've had some pretty good chats this week just about stuff coming up and what we're going to aim for when gyms are opening as a brand. Some real good ideas, some cool stuff going to happen. Also a few things as well that are going to help people get really good results and basically set you up perfectly for when the gyms are back open. Your motivation's through the roof and you're looking to transform your body. So we do have that stuff coming up in the near future. If you have a look at it, it is, what else has been happening? That's it really. Been pretty smooth. Not much like training wise has been like unbelievable the last week. I pulled down volume slightly, so just pulling out a few sets here and there that I had in that just wasn't really needed. I think because we've got less equipment, I was trying to push more sets in just to have more volume, but when I looked across them at the numbers, there was a few there that just weren't needed. When I pulled them down, lifts are still going up, like even pressing now is still moving, touch wood. It's lower body day to day. I'm gonna aim for a PB on a spider squat, like I hit one last week, but it felt pretty smooth till the last reps. I'm gonna push that again. So that's like something that's not really happened before. Normally when I diet, numbers do start to go down on certain movements. The only real issue I'm having is since before lockdown, I was doing an RDL with Steve, or Mr. Fitch, and I had a top set and it was a PB and they looked so smooth and he was like screaming like one more and I just felt this massive pop in my lat, and that's been 20 weeks ago and I've still got it. So it's okay in like certain movements, but like if I try and do like a pull down or anything, it's just this monumental pain through my lat. So I'm getting that seen to today because some sports therapists are now open, which is going to be really helpful because I can see it in my posing as well. One side's flaring a lot better, and that's why you should be doing all that stuff on top. The main things that are just going to be focused on the next couple of weeks. So I'm only going to push this till like probably the third week of July, just because it is just a tidy up phase to get me in a better position to grow. So I don't need to be coming down like to a stage lean position. If I drop to like 84, which would be 2 kilos, which is quite likely, I don't need to go any lower than that. Especially because I am starting to now feel a little bit of fatigue in terms of just energy throughout the day and things like that, which we don't really want when you're not trying to push super hard. So it'll be a couple more weeks of just digging in, and then from there you'll see the before and afters, and I'll be transitioning right back into a gaining phase and just growing for the next, well, depending on what the plans are next year, but growing for a prolonged period. So really successful week. Nothing much else been happening. It's been shit weather for any of my viewers in England. You have probably had some decent weather. It's been absolutely pissing it down, which I'll show you because I'm waiting to go training it.
I just know that I lost my best friend and I lost a piece of me.
Silence speaks so loud, trying to drown it out in this room full of emptiness. 'Cause we've been holding on to each other. Now with the space I need.
Going to chain legs in the outside garden iron paradise, which you'll see in a second, or you might see the gazebo. There's Robin wearing the old school hoodie. It's one of the things I think people are struggling the most from what I'm hearing, especially with training, that even though, like for example, I've got a lot of equipment, so I can't complain about that, but because you've not got that you're not walking, you're not traveling to the gym, so you kind of have that house and then gym. You get that different mindset. A lot of people are struggling with that, but one of the big things I think is you've just got to focus on it. So noise cancelling headphones help, not being on your phone looking at Instagram throughout your entire session, all those things where you're actually focusing on what you should be doing. It's never going to feel exactly like the gym, and I think even for a lot of people who have really good home equipment, they're still going to go back to the gym afterwards, because that just environment is far more positive rather than you being there, unless people have enough equipment and some of their days, like maybe they're like upper body day, is just done at home. But I certainly need a hack squat to train legs. I just find it more beneficial, and using like a spider bar is great, but my recovery has not been the best. Like my back's minced from it, so you will see a lot of people, well, the majority transitioning back to gyms. But if you are looking for a hell of a lot of equipment, I'm sure once lockdown's over, you can pick some up for pretty cheap. Also, training in the rain when you've got Vibrams on that aren't waterproof is less than ideal. One of the other great things about training outside, although it is, to be fair, it is quite good. Like if we lived in a country that was warm and sunny, I'd be very happy to train here, but we don't live in Scotland, so we are in a gazebo, which has got a hole in it now. But that there is just all the water from last night that's trapped on top of it. And if I go outside, run to this side, and Robin pushes it, you'll see how much comes off. And let's be honest, it's not really ideal when you've got stuff here. That also hit me. So that's a good start to your workout. But once you're past all that, it's all fun really, isn't it?
I try and never tell that you won't see.
So if we're discussing mobility and we're discussing flexibility and we're actually looking at ways in which to become stronger, even ways in which to become leaner, to become more functional, whether you're a bodybuilder or whether you do functional training, what we need to consider is the fact that each of those limit the other. So there's 4 factors if we look at that you can actually control, whether it comes to your strength, your flexibility and your mobility. The other one is obviously your growth. There's one that you can, and it's your anthropometrics. This is basically the makeup of your body, so the various measurements of your body components put together. You can't change those, that's how you're built. However, you do not always have the mobility, which is range around the joint, to sit into a specific position or to pull into a specific position, which allow you a full contraction of the muscle. That's something that with a therapist, a movement specialist, even a physio or a chiropractor, that's something that we can help you achieve.
I've just finished with my sports massage. For anyone that gives me any shit, by the way, my phone's on a camera stand, so I'm not holding it while driving. I've just came out of my sports massage because, as I said, my lat was giving me a lot of shit, but it turns out it's more mid-back traps. And what she thinks happened is it's just been a strain through like me doing a pull. But also I probably knew that because I do have a little bit of an issue with slightly internally rotated shoulders. So I've just got some work that I need to do on that, and I'll throw up Shelley speaking about like why it's important, but I think as bodybuilders, we are so bad for doing that sort of stuff. And even if it's just stuff like you're going to see someone every couple of weeks just to loosen off areas, remember, the more mobility you have, the better it'll be for posing, training, etc. Because if you can't get into a position, you're not going to be able to contract in it. So it is something, if you've got the time and a bit of spare cash, that is very, very worth it, especially for like if you're a competitor, if you're a bikini girl. If you go to a sports therapist, it will really help with you getting in all the positions you need to, because rotating is quite difficult. Anyway, on top of that, the big man Cheapy, my client, is away on holiday this week, and he gets meals delivered from a company called Ibiza Fitness Food, and they're apparently bang on, so he's got them delivered and he's not going to be here, so I'm trying them out. The main reason is I get asked a lot of questions about meal prep companies, and I normally say I've got no idea because I cook all my own food. The big thing is, a lot of the companies don't actually weigh their own food in that, they just fucking wing it. So you don't want to be using that, especially on prep. But I'm going to use a couple of these, try them out, see what they're like. Like there's a protein chocolate banana porridge, which will be brilliant post-workout. So I'm going to have a bit of a fanny around with these, let you know what I think, just for anyone out there who has got a bit of spare cash and you don't either have the time to cook, or they're brilliant for people who are like, if you're a busy working person, just having that there so you're not having to cook. On top of that, last but not least, next week on the vlog, I am going to do a training day. So I'm going to do a training day. The phone just fell over out of the stand. I'm either going to do pull, push, or lower, depending. So let me know what you think. I'd love your feedback on it. So drop me a message, tell me what day you'd like to see, and I'll go through sort of the setup of it. Obviously I'm training at home at the moment, so I'll go through why I'm doing everything, the volume, etc. Also, if you head over to my Instagram, if you're watching this on Instagram, then just stay on it. Have a look at some of the articles that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Last week I done one on speaking about why your ego might be stopping you building muscle. So have a read of it, let me know what you think. If it sounds like something that applies to you, drop me a DM and we can jump on a call, discuss how you would move forward and how you can improve that. I've also got a couple of spaces free next week if anyone's interested in a Zoom call, just to go through how you would set up while you go back to the gym. On top of that, if you're watching on, well, I suppose you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, but please head over to our website. We've been putting up a lot of stuff, articles, some other stuff there. We've got a bikini guide, or a female, a free training program and a free push-pull leg split for guys. And again, that'll give you a perfect setup for you transitioning back into the gym. But I will see you guys later. Another successful day in the dieting vlog, and I'll catch you all next week.